Hey guys, this is Colin from Blackjack Apprenticeship, and I'm back with my good friends David Loudon Often and Dusty Mr. Pink Chip. And someone asked me the question, Colin, what's your biggest loss? And I thought, rather than just share my biggest loss, maybe the three of us could share our biggest loss stories. And there's an interesting thing as card counters where I would say your biggest losses are more memorable than your biggest wins. The pain of losing hurts more than the thrill of winning. I just think that it's human nature. And so I guess I'll start. I remember it like it was yesteryear. Ironically, it was my first trip to Vegas. Fly into Vegas with another team member. We went to Slots of Fun, where I got a $1.50 foot-long hot dog, which was the worst decision of the trip. I took 2 bites and threw the thing away and realized why it was $1.50 for a foot-long hot dog. This wasn't Costco food court quality. Then went to the Mirage, where I proceeded to lose about $30,000. And I thought, you know what, I can't take any more here. Walked next door to Bellagio, where I lost another roughly $10,000. And so in my first 3 hours in Vegas, I'd had an awful foot-long hot dog. I'd lost about $40,000. And then the kicker is Bellagio backed me off. And I know someone's watching this saying like, what? They backed you off when you were losing? Bellagio don't care. They know I'm a winning player. And I've got some good news. I've gotten all that $40,000 back and quite a bit more, even just out of Vegas. $40,000 loss was just a blip in my $600,000+ career, but it was a sad day. It was a little bit of a stomach punch. So on that note, David, you want to share your biggest loss?
Well, 2 come to mind. One was in Biloxi, and it was a wild session in that I think I was up maybe 15,000 really quickly. Maybe too quickly. And then it just all fell out, and I think I lost 40,000, 40 something in that session. And then I remember another one. This was Palm Springs, and it was this long, slow grind downhill. It was just like, a session of hour upon hour upon hour, where it's like, it can't get worse than this. It can't get worse than this. Why is this pocket empty? This pocket's empty. That was 30 something, and that one hurt more. And in the moment, it just feels horrific. It feels like violence.
You know that feeling where you're reaching in for more money? You're like, I can't. This will be it. I'm not going to be buying in again. And 2 minutes later, you're buying in again.
And you can feel everybody else feels just as bad, and they're wondering like, where is this? Stop! Why do you keep pulling money out of your pockets?
So why do we keep playing when we're down that much?
It's the long haul. It's the big overall picture, not the one session. Every hand is an independent event, and every hour is part of your big picture.
Yeah, and we've said this before, but you can't trick the cards into avoiding those losing sessions. When you're losing as a card counter, it's the math working out, just like when you're winning. And to have the math work out, you have to just get to that long run. You got to put in the hours. And one of the fun parts is when you win way more than expectation, and the painful part is when you lose way more. So Dusty, why don't you share your biggest loss?
I don't know if it's the biggest, because I might have blocked something out. The pain I try not to remember. But it was my first night in a remote part of Louisiana, and I think I had only brought $80,000 with me for the trip.
Only 80,000.
It doesn't sound that way at first, but first night, if I'm like 4 or 5 hours in, and I'm like falling like a rock, and I got down to the point where I couldn't play a legitimate bet spread that like paid money. I was having to.
You didn't have enough capital to bet the way you wanted to.
Right. So I was having to divide what I had by 6 to try to, build back up a bankroll in a responsible hand-by-hand sort of situation.
So let me explain this real quick. The reason divide by 6 is any bet you place as a card counter, you need to have at least 5 bets to back it up, because you don't know if you're gonna have to split multiple times, double down multiple. You should actually have 6 bets to back it up. It'd be great if you had more, but if you've got $600 left, don't bet more than $100, because the math is based on being able to play proper basic strategy, which is splits and double downs. And so you were not having enough money to bet. Maybe you were betting up to $4,000 a round, and you didn't have,
not anywhere near enough. Yeah, so that's when my session became a grind. And I'm like, this was when I was traveling with my wife and my first son, and they're like sitting in the gift shop. It's like 11 o'clock. I'm like, I keep asking for a hotel room, and they keep like putting it off. And so I started to climb back, and I think I got back up to about $10,000 or $11,000, and then just called it a night. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna quit now. And they gave me a room, and I came back the next day, and they flat bet me.
Oh my gosh.
So I was like, you gotta be kidding.
That's the worst, the double whammy. That's what I had with the double whammy, the loss back off or the loss flat bet. But did you ever win back that money?
Oh yeah. Yeah, and more.
What's your biggest win?
I was up over 100 in Minnesota, and I called Colin, Blackjack manager, and I was like, dude, I could close this thing out by myself. And he was like, no, don't, keep playing. He talked me out of believing that gambler fallacy of like, quit while you're ahead, like
unless you're never
EV.
gonna play blackjack again.
Right. So then I took a small downturn, but I was still up like over $90,000.
That's incredible. That blows my biggest win out of the water. I think my biggest was around $50,000 for a day or two at a casino, and it was memorable. What about you, David?
I have 4 or 5 sessions that to the dollar are right about 50,000. Wow. They're all at tribals, and they're all not anywhere close to home. These out of the way places I've been to once.
Well, there you have it, guys. This is a game that is based on reaching the long run. It's based on generating EV, not worrying about short-term wins and losses. I can't say you can never worry about it, but you just have to, as Tommy Highland says, fire those bets out there, regardless of the short-term win or loss. You can't trick the cards into avoiding those losing hands, those losing sessions, those losing streaks. You just keep generating positive EV, and if you have a perfect game, good bankroll management, you get in the hours, it will work out. It's worked out for us, for our teams, and for every other professional card counter I know that's had positive EV game, enough hours, good bankroll management. So hopefully that's interesting for you guys. Someone asked, so we answered it for you. And there you go. If you want to watch more, we've got videos here on this channel. You can subscribe below. You can check out Blackjack Apprenticeship, where we have a free mini course on what card counting is and isn't, because most people don't understand what it actually is, as well as, kind of a good primer to figure out if card counting is right for you or not. We'll see you guys next time.